Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. I, of course, am Wanda, she, her. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. I'm back to Disco Elysium. Looping on myself there. That's unfortunate. Apologize for that. There we go. Not sure how that happened. Shouldn't have been possible. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. And, you know what? Perhaps it's fitting that today we started things off with just a little bit of bad luck. Because luck is what this stream is going to be all about. Disco Elysium, of course, like most role-playing games, or at least the ones that are based on a tabletop experience, features dice. And we're going to be seeing some dice. And we're going to be talking just a little bit about the role of chance and the fates of people. First off, let's get a quick recap of where we're at. Stats are looking good. Some higher than others, of course. We've got 2 skill points to work with. Want to keep those in reserve. We just recently got... Where is it? These. Icosahedral, that means 20-sided. They're D20s. Set of red and blue dice. These 2 20-sided dice have the colors of a police alarm. Bloodstone for red and lapis lazuli for blue. If you roll them and squint your eyes, it looks like you're arriving on the scene. And it's raining. Note, look at the map tab in Journal to see which white checks have opened. That's a function that the dice have in the game. They give you an ability to retry and give you a bonus to certain specific checks. They're not based on any one skill. And this one, get the ice cream maker open, is our next especially important skill check. So, before we do anything else, I'm going to commission the dice from Neha that, if needed, are going to let us re-roll that check.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
Yes, I am, Neha. I'd like to order a die from you.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind.
Do you know the Viral Untethered setting? I want a die for that. By the way, you can sort of see how some of these other ones are associated with the other capo types. We've got I'm sorry, I don't actually know what die I want, or tell me about your most extraordinary die. That one's the superstar. Do you have any cursed dice? That one's the cop of the apocalypse, but we're going for this one.
Ah, yes. Fortress Accident. It's too bad they never finished their game.
It is too bad.
The Wiro Untethered die is a variation of a standard role-playing die. Only, instead of plants, it uses motives of ice and death. And loss, of course.
Ice, death, loss. Sounds like you.
Indeed it does.
I'm thinking something made from alligator jawbone, cast in black resin. The reptile bone is as white as ice and dead as, well, death. For 7 real, I could have it ready in 8 hours.
What's a standard role-playing die?
It's an icosahedron, a 24-sided die that can produce results for 2-sided, 3-sided, 4-sided, 6-sided, and 12-sided die with a single roll. Technically, you can also use it for many other sizes, but you may need to reroll results.
Obviously, you would divide your results by 12, 8, 6, 4, or 2, respectively.
Loving it. So nifty.
It is nifty. Why do you need to cast it in resin?
Untreated bone is porous and prone to chipping. Cast it in something hard like resin though, and voila, it's perfect.
Indeed. It's a deal.
Great. See you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else?
Can I order another die?
I'm sorry. I'm a bit overloaded just now, so I can only produce 1 die per customer.
Jacta alia est. That's the die is cast, which is, I've made my decision. Anyway, prepare for a text dump, folks. You may recall there was a call box on the outside of this building with a number of defunct companies that we were able to ring. Neha knows about all of them. Do you know what happened to other tenants? Everyone else is gone.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind. Rats scuttle in the dark rooms under the abandoned blow dryers and dusty mannequins. Cobwebs cover rotors and radio computers alike. So much failure.
All right, we're just gonna go down from the top. The first one that we encountered, of course, was androgynous Orlandos. There used to be a hair salon here, right?
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
A bit of experimenting every now and then isn't bad. It's not about the haircut, it's about the confidence.
This is very true. For a lot of people who are uncomfortable about changing up their gender presentation, it's about projecting the confidence and knowing that you'll be received the way you want to be received, and not, like a man in a dress or what have you. Anyway, our options are, what's wrong with a bit of experimenting? The customers should have been more open-minded. I would never let anyone androgynous touch my hair, not even if my life depended on it. Or, I guess I'm a simple man. I don't really have any opinions on hairstyles. Obviously, I'm gonna go with this one.
I guess it just wasn't the time yet.
She tucks a strand of hair under the headscarf. I have to wonder about this. There aren't a lot of other people wearing headscarves around here. It's possible that Neha has something like alopecia and is covering it up. Maybe she, too, is self-conscious about her hair and the gender assumptions around it. Next up is the gym, where we got the shot put ball. What happened to the gym?
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's boxing club, a community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime.
That's a common theme in this game, is kids who need some sort of outlet other than narcotics and theft. And who was Artemitep?
A kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back.
Maybe that's what Kuno needs, a community-centric boxing club.
Kuno. Who's Kuno?
He's a little ginger gremlin who likes to defile dead bodies. Or, indeed, who is Kuno? Your guess is as good as mine. No, I respect the Kuno. He's the king around here.
Oh yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth. Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard.
She looks out of the window. It's oddly quiet there at the moment.
I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid.
Oh yeah. So, how did that community project work out?
It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
It's not really full of that. No one would store their drugs like that.
Are you sure?
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since.
Now, this one here, I'm gonna be talking about this window company a lot. I truly believe that This is part of the thing that we would have explored in the DLC if it was ever produced. There is a big, unspoken plot line that this game only hints at. What's up with the broken windows?
Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right?
You might recall out in the plaza we found an old scrap of paper advertisement saying, "Need windows? Tibbs has windows." This is Tibbs, the 24-hour window repair company.
Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milieu. Who would have guessed?
What's the snuff milieu?
And that's on a success. We don't know what that is.
And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own.
It provides a handy way to guide the player through what would otherwise be a big open area. Cool, very cool about the debris. What's a snuff milieu?
It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
Nothing changes in her tone as she says that, as if it's just another piece of information to lay out for the world.
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-roses. This isn't our problem.
Yep. This is officially not our job.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators.
Then she lets the thought go. Indeed. I wonder where those perpetrators are. Anyway, let's keep going. Did someone here make stuffed animals? I saw mounts lying around.
You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs. Anything else?
A lot of drugs in this town. I found some creepy mannequins.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came.
I didn't know insects had any rights. Or activists.
Yeah, the atelier didn't know it either. They produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection.
Think of resources like whale oil. So our options are, I'm glad that someone took care of the little guys. I like insects. Insects don't have any brains or feelings. They got what they deserved. Making clothes out of beetle wings is a terrible idea. We'll be sympathetic.
Really? Anyway.
She looks at the windowsill where a dead fly is lying on its back, legs curled up in a bow tie. What's with the rotor blades and skis?
They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money.
She rests her chin on her hand with an impish smile.
Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is.
What do these transmissions say?
The usual, I imagine. That he's been thinking up all kinds of new business plans and can't wait to get started on them just as soon as he returns.
Her smile widens before she sees the lieutenant's face behind you.
Men like that are a curse.
The lieutenant is stern.
Sure, but Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those skis and blades are still lying around in the house. Not much use now, I guess.
They were just props. Why return them? Maybe you could make a sword out of one. No, wait, forget it. It would take too long.
It is unfortunate that some people pursue some lines of work purely because they can get money. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand that most business happens so that people can make a living and that that's important. But when you primarily are just using resources and people to enrich yourself, inevitably this is the kind of business that happens. You need to care about at least one thing other than the number. This is the radio computer. I found a strange machine.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio.
She closes her eyes as some remnant of a memory lights up her face.
They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral.
That's understandable. Fantasies are serious things. The mind is the drawing board of history.
You know what? Yeah.
They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules.
What do you mean liberal? What happened?
The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time.
What went wrong?
Well, I did hear them talking at times.
She looks at the hallway, as if she can still hear them chit-chat behind her curtains on cigarette break.
They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
She sounds almost mocking when she says that.
You will recall Fortress Accident is sort of a mirror of Studio Zaum, and given the political implications and messaging of Disco Elysium, I can certainly understand Studio Zaum at times taking themselves too seriously, and then in turn mocking themselves for taking themselves too seriously. From what I've seen so far, the project did look quite impressive.
Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic, and to show up to work on time.
Well, showing up to work on time is incredibly hard.
And so is producing something extraordinary.
Her eyes wander to the shelves full of dye prototypes and discarded models. You gotta dig through a lot of dirt before you find the gold.
Anything else?
There was a terrifying taxidermy bear in the cellar.
Oh boy, the fabled Revo-show ICT. You're in for a treat here.
She smiles and leans closer, hands on her knees, like a stand-up comedian ready to tell a story.
The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Okay.
Indeed. What were the other ideas?
All right. What about the other ideas?
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth.
Sex sells.
And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
She leans back, disapproving. Yeah, you get that kind of attitude when you pay someone 20 cents an hour.
Sounds like she really doesn't know how to be a female ally. Fritta does the same thing.
So our options are, I know a girl just like that. She works in Frita as a cashier and she's not particularly friendly. You should learn how to support other women, not bring them down. Good message, but perhaps not coming from a man. What did they expect? 20 cents per hour is dog's pay. I'm surprised they showed up to work at all. That's an award-winning idea. How else do you choose people around you? I don't have an opinion on employing teens. I just want to know, did it work out for the business? I'm going to go with this one. 20 cents an hour? Like, the exchange rate between real and any sort of other currency is difficult to ascertain, but yeah, 20 cents an hour is bullshit.
Oh, but they did. They did show up to work, and not alone. There were also acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the ice cream stand. And they already had the bear.
She closes her eyes as if remembering something painful. What about the bear?
The bear.
She repeats, pressing thumbs into her temples like trying to suppress a headache. Didn't work out?
Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Ravishore Ice City lost the price war to its rival, Glacé 5000. Glacé 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges.
I'm sure the bear was doing its best.
Maybe, because the taxidermist who made that bear definitely wasn't. Doing his best, I mean.
How come?
He said that the bear was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. Called it Megatherion.
Vision beast is pretty obviously standing in for the more incorrect term of spirit animal. Or possibly fursona. Also, this might be the same taxidermist who also worked in this building. If he made the skua and the grouse as well, he is capable of some competent piece. Anyway.
Sounds cool.
It does.
Why is everyone doing drugs in this place? Even the taxidermist?
Wow. Failed that roll. Megatherion?
Megatherion, a mega wild beast.
What's a mega wild beast?
It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life by telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
Do you think that vision beast could guide me towards some amphetamines?
I don't, officer. You should stay away from drugs and vision beasts. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
Nice. She seems almost sad, finishing the story. Some dust beams swirl in the morning light. Her eyes follow it idly.
Little sparkling embers under the window. Outside its light. Light scatters from the low-hanging cloud cover. There's always the threat of snow.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time.
I found the building's intercom, but it's not working.
Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me.
She rubs her forehead. Her scarf has left a faint line on her dusky skin.
I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion.
The doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her then.
I was wondering about the whirling in rags. Is it part of the same building complex?
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East Delta Commerce Center project. That explains why you can call the whirling from the intercom, albeit I doubt that anyone responds.
I do want to say I really like the optimism of calling this place East Delta. It's very similar to Andre referring to it as Jamrock North. This isn't Martinez. It's just a further extension of another more successful place. Didn't work.
If the whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the Dune commercial area. The darkness of this place is there, too.
I saw a name East Delta Pinball on the doorbell.
Right. It used to be a gaming arcade. This is an ancient failure, before my time. I'm not surprised, however. My advice? Don't base your business on a fad. Hypnotism, floriography, trick-track, especially pinball.
Agreed. Pinball is the worst.
Kim has opinions about pinball. We'll get into that later. So you're telling me that the doorbell with the empty name card was yours?
That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet.
A strange thing happened when I tried calling a company named Slipstream SCA. Someone answered.
It can't be true. They don't work here anymore. They've been gone for years. Are you sure it was Slipstream SEA? Was it a woman? Maybe it was Plaisance from the bookstore.
She said she was from Tricentennial Electrics.
Tricentennial Electrics?
There's a moment before she recognizes the name.
It used to be a major electric company 100 years ago. Are you sure it wasn't just some kids playing a prank on you?
No, it was something else. It was eerie. It was too real to be just a prank. Either we're dealing with a professional actress, or whatever happened, keep your cool. It's probably better to admit that it was a harmless prank.
It may have been some sort of rare electrical anomaly.
A prank is more likely, no? Oh, the kids these days. We were just one of them, and now they're terrorizing us. No solidarity.
Indeed. Generations. You know. I have a few more questions about the building.
Sure, I'm listening.
I have more questions about the intercom.
I'm pretty sure it still doesn't work, but sure. What do you want to know? Sure,
Okay.
I'm listening. Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
You know what? I want to fail this one. Let's put on everything that takes off shivers. Now, we've put points into shivers, so we might still get it, but either way, I think it's interesting. And since we got a point, if we do fail it, we can just put a point into shivers, change out our outfit, and then succeed at the same check. Don't want to go commando under our windbreaker. Anything else? Nope.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
Let's see if we fail it.
You feel nothing. If anything, it's uncomfortably warm in here.
Start taking off your clothes. You need to connect. Let's get this windbreaker off.
Excuse me, what are you doing?
The dice maker stares at you while you start to fuss with your pants.
Officer!
The zipper, it's stuck.
Oh no, not the zipper.
She rolls over to the other end of her table with her chair, looking for something to grab from the toolbox.
A tool to get the zipper open.
Is it just me or is it hot in here?
No, I don't feel hot. We're in a derelict smokestack. If anything, then it's cold here.
I'm trying to lower my body temperature.
And why would you do that?
It's part of this special technique I have.
And what technique is that?
She squints at you, a little astonished at what she's hearing. You still haven't gotten your zipper open. Okay, hear me out. Sometimes I get these feelings.
Miss, I apologize for my colleague's behavior. He's still recovering from an unusual medical episode.
Officer, this isn't how mature adults deal with their feelings.
Now you feel something. The cold damp of shame washing over you.
No, not like that. It's like I can feel the wind, or I don't know, the air pressure, and then the air tells me things.
The air pressure told you to take your pants off in my studio?
This is not going very well, is it? Word-wise.
No, I'm not explaining this very well.
Can you please employ this special technique somewhere else? I work here and my work requires concentration. Half-naked people don't help with that.
She turns away so that you can zip up your pants again. Little awkward there. And it's possible that we lost some points with Kim on that one. But, like I said, we've got the extra point to spare. Might as well put it where we know we're gonna want it. And swap out our clothes. What do we have for shivers? Of course, there's a little bit of ludonarrative dissonance here, where she has a problem with our changing clothes in front of her, but she doesn't have a problem with this. And by the way, we can do this with no pants on at all, and the dialogue is still the same. Game makers can't think of everything.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a dog?
That's a little better. Let's go.
A gust of cold air sweeps through the chimney. The stones and minerals on the shelves rattle as though agitated. For a moment, it almost feels as though you're outside the building, exposed to the atmosphere.
This is still just a theory, but hear me out. I think I know why your business hasn't failed.
Didn't we already talk about this?
She asks as the wind continues to seep in through the cracks in the old chimney. It's because you're not in the same building as the others. This isn't technically the doomed commercial area.
What are you talking about? My address is exactly the same. Rue de Saint-Guilain 10.
No, the old coal plant that used to be here was subsumed into the new venture. Its ruins swallowed up. Yet it has a different address in the heart of the city.
It's worth noting, she moved into the chimney so she wouldn't have to pay rent. That's one of the first things she says. I don't know if she gets mail here. No, this used to be a coal plant. Touch the safety curtains. You're in a chimney of another building.
This doesn't make any sense.
She looks around the makeshift nest that she has carved out for herself, bewildered.
Are you saying my business was spared because of a technicality? Where is this coming from?
I'm just using logic. It's windy in here. You probably haven't properly sealed the chimney crown.
You're right. I should take a trip to the roof once the snow is gone. Does it mean that I'm safe from failure?
Don't let her become complacent. She still needs to ward her soul against the evil forces.
No one's ever really safe from the failure.
She starts laughing, her fingers trying to rub away the exhaustion from her face.
What?
Do you know what this is?
She raises her hand to reveal a piece of metal shining on her index finger. It looks like a regular piece of jewelry to me.
It's a mourning ring. I made this when my first company failed. It was a small jewelry shop right here in the East Delta Commerce Center, built with the little I inherited from my parents. I drove it into the ground within a year. I didn't have what you would call a viable business plan.
Why are you telling me this?
It wasn't just the jewelry shop either. I always thought that it was just the world that you were supposed to try again and again until you finally succeed. And now you're telling me what? That it was all because I didn't run my little shops and ventures from a dump inside an abandoned chimney?
Don't call it a dump. You've made it nice and cozy here.
Yeah. Or maybe it's the entire world that's cursed. It's such a precarious place. Nothing ever works out the way you want it. That's why people like role-playing games. You can be whoever you want to be, you can try again. Still, there is something inherently violent even about dice rolls.
That's true. I mean, case in point. We had a check, we failed it, we modified our stats, and we were able to try again. And Neha isn't mad at us. That doesn't carry over. It's a fantasy of sorts.
It's like every time you cast a die, something disappears. Some alternative ending or an entirely different world.
She picks up a pair of dice from the table and examines them under the light. You know, I'm just going to take a quick break here. And I want to talk about what I mentioned a few sessions ago, about how this game is a way to do an end run around the events of the novel that takes place 20 years after, in the 70s. This game features innumerable dice rolls. It creates thousands upon thousands of alternate worlds in which the events of this 1 week in Revachol turn out differently. All of them completely different timelines. You couldn't play the same game twice in a row if you wanted to. And that creates alternate endings. That creates millions of different versions of this story, all of which tie back into the overarching reality that is Elysium, different timelines of the same world. And again, very few of which presumably lead to the events of a sacred and terrible air, thereby allowing the greater reality to survive it. I truly believe that this game is what allows the world of Elysium to carry on. It carries information from your reality to theirs, reinforcing it in much the same way that dark matter is gravity bleeding through from other realities, and your own gravity that's suspiciously weak compared to the other fundamental forces leaks out into other worlds. Fiction is the same thing, but for information. But I'm getting a little too deep into multiverse theory. I apologize. Let's get back at it.
But anyway, thanks for sharing your theories, officer.
Well, I'll share my theories anytime. And we got a thought, the precarious world. Let's take a look at that. There it is there. Temporary research bonus, all red checks fail. Seems like the point of this game is victory, the absence of defeat on all fronts, victory in business ventures and creative undertakings, victory in love and over other people, political victory, ideological victory, hell, even sexual victory. Definitely a lot of object-based victories too, having things and not losing them. One problem though, not a lot of victors in sight. Everyone's mostly losing. Why is that? And how do you not lose? Now, Harry has a lot of skills as a police detective. He knows a lot about drugs, for example. Surprisingly, he knows quite a bit about architecture and art and history and so forth. But one thing that Harry doesn't know is business. For all that he talks about money, he doesn't know the first goddamn thing about being an entrepreneur. I, on the other hand, do. So, if I may, let me take a moment and explain why I think Neha's business has succeeded. And to explain that, let's take a look at the 4 businesses in this general area that are still thriving. First, there's the Whirling in Rags and the Freak. Both of those are succeeding for the same reason. This is basically a glorified truck stop. So they actually take advantage of the location. They provide services that truckers passing through would want. Also, Freak is a national chain, an international chain actually, since we learned that that's why they have to spell their name with 3 T's. And one of the first things Gart says about the Whirling in Rags is that he manages multiple cafeterias. That also is a business that has multiple locations. So even if the poverty and drugs and ill fortunes of Martinez cause those locations to lose money month after month, year after year, the owning companies might still be propping them up, if only to keep a hold of the resources and the real estate. And both Frita and the Whirling in Rags sell alcohol and cigarettes. There are 4 narcotics in the game, and they sell the 2 that are legal. They diversify, they cater to the local clientele, and they literally sell addictive narcotics. That's why they prop themselves up. And speaking of being propped up, we've got the bookstore. We already know that Plaisance has a silent partner, her husband, who pays to keep her business active. She clearly isn't very good at business otherwise. She doesn't know or care what she's selling. There are no other customers. And certainly the truckers passing through, the way that they're depicted, very few of them would want to spend money on books. Certainly even less on role-playing games. And again, if anyone knows the finances of that business, it would be Plaisance. She's the one who's seen the books. If she thinks her business is failing, then who is Neha to say otherwise? And Neha herself? Well, that's a pretty easy one. Neha, you don't pay rent. Paying rent and paying to stay somewhere are one of the primary themes of the economic message of this game. And Neha, you're squatting in a chimney. You probably also don't pay for power. I expect that much like Revachol Ice City, you're just plugged into some random outlet and siphoning power. I mean, how would you get power otherwise? You're not in a real address. You don't pay for any employees. You don't have health and safety. You don't have to pay for heating or cooling. You're probably not insured. This is the Gossamer state of Revachol, so there's little to no taxes. Your business is thriving because you have basically no expenses. You would have to start throwing fistfuls of money out the window in order to go bankrupt. And we know that you don't make that much money because it takes 8 hours for you to craft a set of dice for us, and you're only charging us 7 real. Even if we assume you get your materials for free, you're pulling in less than 1 real per hour of work. Neha, you're not lucky, and you're not business savvy. You're just squatting. That's why your business hasn't failed. Anyway, sorry, it bugs me that you can't address that. Let's get back at it. We'll be back to get our die later. Thanks for the talk. And, in order to leave, we do have to get our flashlight back. Alright, come on, Kim, let's go. These are the broken windows that we can't get past. And you know what? She did mention... Oh, what was that? Get back here. Looks like the remains of the 24-hour window repair shop. Okay, so now we've got insight because of what Neha told us. And we're going to take a look at that punching bag. Oh, get back here. Is this Contact Mike, the boxing champion? Can we see it? No, our perception still isn't high enough. Oh well, worth a shot. We cannot find any drugs in the gym. Anyway, we still have this mega pry bar in our hands because we are on a quest So we might as well continue with that. Now, like I said, this is a very important check, but fortunately, we have a couple of chances to try it. Gonna be physical instrument. Do we have anything other than the shirt for physical instrument? I don't think so. But it never hurts to check. No, that's pain threshold. No, that's same slot. Yep, no, I thought so. Let's give it a shot.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
Okay. Machine unplugged. Better grip with gloves. We've got the proper tool. You know what? I'm gonna juice us. And now here we have that problem again, where the drug thing doesn't pop up. Oh, wait. No, it might not let us because we turned down the option to drink less than 1 in-game hour ago. Oh well, that's fine.
This orange machine is dead still.
Give
It
it a
has
shot.
a hand-cranked ice cream churner. Ice squeaks beneath your
Damn it.
Kavalzun multi-tool, but your fingers slip away from the tool. The lid shutters tightly as before.
Not especially close.
And it's already unplugged. There's not much else to do other than wait for it to defrost or bulk up and get stronger.
By which you mean spend a skill point. And we've only got 1 attempt to do that. You know what? I think I'm gonna wait until we can drink again. In the meantime, you know what? I think we still have an interact left with this. Maybe this'll let us do the forgery attempt.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40-month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum. Underneath all this, Lillian's signature and an empty line waiting for a signee.
Look at the
The
zoning plan.
youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall.
Okay. So we'll see if that unlocked the ability to do the forgery. Fast travel real quick. If I can't do it in my shack, hopefully the drunks will be there, because they give us the option. Okay. You can do
You
it.
take the legal documents out
Oh,
of
for
the...
crying out loud. Alright. Drunks it is. Hey, Idiot Doom Spiral, what's up? Don't mind me as I shine a flashlight directly in your
Tequila
face.
Sunset.
He nods in appreciation. Could you and your pals sign this document?
What's it about?
He waves his hand apathetically.
I'll let my hand address the situation.
Hell yeah.
Maybe you've heard. I used to be a very successful businessman. I've signed more than a few lease forms or whatever the fuck they were. Anyone's got a pen? The pro's gonna do it.
Yes, I have this green ape one.
All right.
He grabs the pen and paper from your hand and very carefully scribbles on the dotted line next to Lillian Carter, Idiot Doom Spiral. That was not the signature we needed, Idiot Doom Spiral, but thank you. Can I have the pen back too?
Don't know if I've mentioned it, but I used to be a businessman. And as a businessman, I am going to keep the pen. For my trouble.
He nods confidently.
No, that was my favorite thing of all the things you have. This had better be worth losing the pen for. My favorite was the gun he lost.
We are, you will recall, doing this to win Evrart's favor, because then Evrart, in theory, will be helping us get our gun back. You've done a great service to the community, to the RCM, and to Revachol.
Hey guys, I'm a hero.
He hands you the envelope and waves his hand erratically at his companions.
Hell yes!
The red-nosed drunk brings his hand up to his head for a salute.
The incapacitated drunk lay there snoring like an ancient, rusting tractor.
Thank you for your help. Should we go and mail this? I think I saw a mailbox on the plaza.
Mailbox, plaza, got it, bye. Indeed. Let's go commit a little light mail fraud. Fast travel again.
This Post Lavatorie mail collection box has been heavily vandalized with graffito. A closer inspection reveals 2 bullet holes in the front. A faint sticker on the side reads, RCM Emergencies Desk number 8102, with a slogan, Mankind, be vigilant.
Good mail delivery box. That looks a little more natural when you
The
don't have
box
to
seems happy. Eat shit pig, fucked by the coon, and St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore, and best set mailbox also.
That is roughly, fuck this mailbox. Been there, Post Lavatorie mail collection box. Been there.
The mail collection box seems cathartic, thankful even. So do you. You shudder, then you swallow, and then suddenly you see it. Over all the other graffitos, someone has, using the tip of a very sharp knife, cut the words, Revachol forever.
I have a personal theory about who carved those words. We're not gonna meet him until much, much later in the game, but he has a knife. And he will mention being somewhere near here and using that knife. Keep your eyes open. Drop the white envelope into the mailbox.
You drop the white envelope in the darkness. It lands with a soft thud on what sounds like a couple of letters. About a week's worth of mail as collected in there. They'll empty this very soon. Probably did the right thing. You can't trust that slug Evrart. You know he's going to play you somehow.
All right, let's go back to Evrart. If we don't mention anything to him, he won't know before it's too late.
So, again, just to recap in case anyone's not keeping track, we are forging the signatures so that his real estate deal will hopefully be challenged in court and fall through, and he won't figure out that we've double-crossed him until it's too late and we've got our gun. And I'm fine with doing that, because Evrart Clare is a big old piece of shit. For reasons that we haven't even fully gotten into yet.
There. Do you smell that?
Smell what? Note, this is not perception. This is rhetoric, Talon. Can you guess? Smell what?
Can you not detect that inimitable whiff of dissatisfaction and restlessness? That sense that the world is in need of dramatic, even violent reordering?
I like that we're not even on screen for this. Close your eyes and take a deep breath.
Can you smell it now? You inhale. The cilia along your olfactory epithelium tingle with excitement as they sift through the swirling morass of industrial odors. First come the smells of the agitated strikebreakers, layers of body oil and sweat, over-buttered meals pulled from bake-like lunch pails, the biting stench of lye soap. And then there's the slowly oxidizing metal gates, the scent of stale grease emanating from every crack.
Everything in order, Detective?
The lieutenant gives you a quizzical look. So we can say, it's kind of a personal errand. I'm smelling for communists, Kim. I'm working on developing my political consciousness. Or just taking in the morning air like a normal detective. Kim's not gonna buy our shit either way. I'm working on developing my political consciousness.
You're developing your... You know what? I'll just leave you to it. Carry on, Detective.
Smart man.
The lieutenant lacks your highly developed political olfactory cortex. The reek of communism is undeniable, and it's coming from that railing right there.
You mean from Manana?
Yes, now's your chance to establish contact. But be easy about it. Communists have been known to charge when startled.
In his physical position, charging would not be a good idea. You know what? I'm just gonna put the flashlight away. Hey there, call me Manana. What's up?
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Attempt to establish contact. Listen, brother, there's something important I need to talk to you about.
What's that, Boya?
He tilts his head slightly.
Now's your chance. Remember, communists are notoriously skittish, so it's best to insinuate your way in. Hold on. This isn't a man who goes in for subterfuge. He prefers someone who'll look him in the eye and say exactly what's on his mind.
So our options are, I'm looking for some people who know how to really grind a sausage, if you know what I mean. It involves our mutual friend, Kraz. Put your hands next to your head and curl your fingers like deer antlers. Extremely subtle. I'm investigating a peculiar smell, one with revolutionary implications. I'm looking for a secret cabal of mole people. Or, I believe there's a cell of radical communists operating in Martinez. Can you help me find them? We're gonna go with Composure's advice.
Now, that is an important subject, but also a sensitive one. Still, good of you to just come straight out with it. No beating around the bush.
He smooths the twin bars of his mustache.
Yes, he certainly has a way of just coming out and saying things that normal people wouldn't.
I love you, Kim.
So you've given up copying and now you're hunting comunistas. Care to say why?
So our options are, I'm not hunting communists, I'm trying to get organized by them. I'm on a sort of quest to develop my political potential and I need their help. Honestly, I had a weird dream and now I need to get to the bottom of it. I'm on a quest to develop my political potential.
A fellow plains roamer in search of greater understanding. A classic story.
He nods approvingly. That's something that's key to so much of this game. You never get the facts straight, not even from a so-called straight talker like Manana. Every character you speak to tells you about the world from their point of view, which makes sense. I mean, if I came up to you and asked, what is the internet, or what is a car, you probably wouldn't give me the dictionary definition. You'd say something about how the internet is a wonderful carnival playland that drives people insane, or a car is a menace that our society is built around, or the opposite of those, depending on your opinions about internet and cars. Anyway, yes, I am a plains roamer in search of greater understanding.
I wish I could help. Unfortunately, I don't know many comunistas.
I thought you union guys were all communists.
Some are, some aren't. It's a big institution, room for all kinds. Comunistas, semi supremacists, even an anti-institutional boyadero.
Ah, forgotten anarchists.
Alright, so if he isn't personally a communist, he's definitely hanging out with them.
Ah, but you know, I did meet a genuine ideologo a few months ago. Perhaps he's your guy.
What's an ideologo?
You know, a guy with a theory. Someone who likes to pit his theory against other theories in deadly theory combat.
How did you meet him?
It was late one night as I was leaving the arbor. He was waiting on the corner in a bright white jacket. Classic Sarameritian style.
We literally have that particular jacket in our inventory right now. We stole it.
He asked me for a light. We shared cigarettes. Then he asked me if I ever thought about getting into some of the extra physical branches of communism.
So we can say, sounds like he was trying to recruit you into the homosexual underground, which is a thought we're currently going through. What did you tell him? An extremely cool way to establish contact. Wish I'd thought of that.
It was alright. A little like something out of a Vespertine spy novel, but I must respect the effort.
Okay, how do I find this guy?
I couldn't tell you. Once I declined his offer, we finished our cigarettes and he disappeared back into the night. Just before he melted into the shadows, he turned to me and said, "Remember Dobrava and Abadanais." And then he was gone.
Who are Dobrava and Abadanais?
I don't know. Guess not everyone remembers.
A tight half smile crosses his face. Well, such is the fate of many things. What do you think it means?
Been wondering about that myself. Some comunista inside talk with me. Not meant for the wider public. They love that kind of thing. You'd have to ask someone who knows the ideologo personally. I have to say though, it sounds like you found yourselves a proper hunt.
The man whispers a jaunty tune. A coastal breeze ruffles his hair.
Good talking to you. Gotta run. Gotta go talk to the boss man. Our inland empire actually might be high enough to get a check here. There it is.
Snow is quietly covering the numerous wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really, really hard here.
Obviously, it was us. How hard?
Well, they went through 6 bottles of potent Pilsner, 3 bottles of Commodore Red, and almost 4 packs of cigarettes. It must have been pretty hard.
Did I do this?
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you.
I must have been on an advanced scouting mission in the harbor.
Yes, this looks pretty advanced, all right. For now, let's just move on.
There we go. So yes, we did hang out here earlier. Can we get more of the stuff? Yes, there we go. Anything else? Nope, that's it. Hi, Leo. I already know he doesn't have anything new to say. He's definitely not a communist, I can tell you that. Oh,
Yes, of course. Now we're on the right track.
no, we're not. Inhale.
It smells like we're getting crates and pallets calling to mind. Vast stands of winter pines. A swirl of ancient odors absorbed by heavy carpet fibers. But also a pervasive, treacly sweetness that somehow reminds you of cola nuts. The whole place could probably use a good deep cleaning, you think?
For anyone who's unfamiliar with cola nuts, yes, they are the original source of caffeine in Coca-Cola. They're a nut that's traditionally chewed in Africa. and it's a stimulant. Much like the coffee that's on offer to everybody.
Well, smelling much communism around the union boss's office?
As always, Kim is 3 steps ahead and wise to our bullshit. Hush, Kim. I'm detecting.
Meanwhile, Evrart Clare clatters away on his typewriter, willfully indifferent to your presence.
This is not a fishing rod, is it? It's... But we don't get a second part to that.
Mr. Dubois, every worker, member of the board. How can I help you today?
Now, of course, he greets us that way because whether he is a communist or not, we selected the communist option, so it's what he says. Well, let's be direct. I'm looking for a cell of underground communists. Can you help me?
Mr. Dubois, really? Do I look like a man who has time for underground communists? I'm as above ground as it gets.
That's a non sequitur, if you've ever heard one.
Let's drop the funny stuff. I'm trying to make contact with my revolutionary brethren.
Sure thing, Harry. We're all business now. The answer is still no. I'm a busy man, as you...
That note of contempt in his voice is sincere, sire.
Pardon me, was a little too quick on the draw there. Don't block off time on my schedule for underground types. Fair. He doesn't like that they aren't businessy.
You've already spoken with Manana, as I understand. I'm afraid I don't have anything else for you on this subject.
That's all you're going to get out of him, it appears.
Now, was there anything else you wish to discuss today?
Fair enough. I've just finished investigating the local drug trade.
Ah, yes. Your side investigation. Thank you. You've got some spirit clearing up phony drug accusations alongside this murder. I'll talk to the mayor and see if I can get you the key to the city, Harry. Now let's talk real business.
Actually, Revachol doesn't have a mayor. He refuses to discuss it further. It's probably just a small nuisance to him.
It's more than just a small nuisance, but we'll find out about that later. Remember the container I asked you about? Turns out there's a mega-rich light-bending guy inside.
Mega-rich light-bending guy? Oh my god. How did that get in there?
Our options are, he's so rich he could get in anywhere. Slime like him must have oozed in through the cracks. He must have been in the container when somebody accidentally closed the door, or I don't know how he got in there. And you know what? We took his money, let's insult him.
Damn it to hell, Harry. I specifically told my guys to check all the containers for mega-rich light-bending guys.
Kim, tell him he was there.
There was a guy in the container, but he didn't bend any light. That was in the detective's head.
Honestly, guys, we might be moving all kinds of suspicious things through this harbor, but I won't be caught transporting the light-bending mega-rich. I have a reputation to protect.
Once again, of course, political options. We're already past the 30-point mark I needed for communists, so it really doesn't matter which one I pick, but for God's sake, you're a socialist. The mega-rich are people too. He was a nice man, gave me stock tips. The transportation of the mega-rich should be more tightly regulated. Didn't seem like he was safe. You should be honored by the presence of this Magus. He was of half Revacholian blood and amassed his wealth using the mysterious bond of nationhood. Fascist, moralist, ultra-liberal. Nope, socialist.
You're right, Harry. I am a socialist. I'm going to catch the mega-rich guy inside the container and harvest his energy to power the harbor's fog lights. Ha ha ha! I shudder to think what you're going to tell me next, Harry.
I legitimately don't know if Evrart Clare, or Edgar Clare, or anyone in the harbor knows that the mega-rich light-bending guy exists or is in that container. He probably doesn't need them to know that he exists.
Not for 1 second did he believe there's an actual mega-rich person somewhere in his container town.
Drama doesn't think so, but whatever. This is the important bit. It's done. I mailed the signatures you asked me to mail.
The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course, I already knew this.
He clasps his hands together like a child who's just been offered cotton candy.
My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a future and proven to be a true man of the left. I can finally trust you now. You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun, nothing is off the table.
Well done, sire. By guile and deceit, you're in. You don't know his full plan. Perhaps he expected trickery. Perhaps the signatures weren't important. The point is, do not think you're ahead of him.
The signatures I got. I know you plan to force them out with the construction noise.
Harry, by now you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, if the construction noise and limited street access makes some people consider moving, well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant uptick in quality of life. I'm talking real affordable workers' palaces.
He proudly spreads his hands to demonstrate the size of the palaces. They're very large.
So the village is doomed.
The lieutenant says grimly.
You were there, you saw the place, a wasteland, there's nothing left. But mark my words, officers, we are going to reset it.
Now, even if we assume that he is going to give affordable housing to the people he's forcing out, I have to assume that the plan is that that affordable housing is available for rent, as opposed to the meager cinder block buildings where those people own. That's always the big grift, isn't it?
Reset. I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal buildings and commerce.
What do you mean?
Harry, imagine a youth centre supermarket church complex, employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with enterprise and life. All those ruins out there turned into low-income housing. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on.
Youth supermarket church complex? You really expect me to believe that?
Yes, I do. I got the centre, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years, I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. It cannot go on.
But will there be giant statues of the Clear brothers towering above it all? Joyce knew he was up to something.
But will you erect a statue to yourself?
I'm not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, workers on welfare, and landowners in Azon hating me. That will be my statue. And yours. We're doing this together.
He's a villain. Perhaps not the worst villain in the game, but a villain nevertheless. Scooby-Doo style, he just wants the land. Joyce was right when she said you were up to something.
Damn right I am, Harry. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as she is one day. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace.
Did you order the hanged man killed?
I did not, Harry. Although I am very, very glad he's dead.
What do you gain from him being dead?
Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war.
In Sun Tzu's The Art of War, there is a lot of superfluous and irrelevant information about not pointing your troops at the sun and looking out for arrows, etc., etc. some of which could arguably be repurposed metaphorically into modern business strategies. But the primary lesson, the TLDR, if you will, from Sun Tzu's Art of War is play games that you think you're going to win, and don't play games that you think you're not going to win. Evrart Clare is starting this war because he thinks he's going to win it. And therefore, according to Sun Tzu, gotta pull that trigger. Have you ever heard what 2 giant Seraï's hornets can do to an entire colony of bees? They destroy it. That's the metaphor Joyce used earlier.
I have. It's a great story, Harry. Did you also know how the bee colony kills the giant hornet? They swarm and blanket it entirely until it suffers a massive heat stroke and dies. Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1, and that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men.
I have to wonder how many of those unions would still be on your side if they knew that your strategy for taking down 2 heavily armored soldiers with automatic weapons is throw as many lives at it as possible. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'll work, but that's the kind of strategy you only employ when you're okay with that happening. And it's only us here to stop it.
The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste.
We can say, yeah, everyone hates them. Except ultra-liberals, maybe, which happens to be me. But we're not. And nobody likes Pinkertons. How is this connected to the strike?
Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that.
It's true. This was never a strike. Joyce knew that his demands were incoherent and that Wild Pines would never respond to them. And we've seen he's putting new covers on all of the containers, taking Wild Pines property. That's not something you do when you expect a strike to resolve with a pay raise.
We're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're going to take all of it for the people, and fuck Wild Pines.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He doesn't swear often.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her arsehole. She has no chance.
What?
Tits from her arsehole. It's a local saying.
Actually, no, it's not.
It feels misogynist, but more importantly, it's vulgarity for the sake of vulgarity. He's just straight up dismissive of a fellow human being. Why are you telling me your plans?
Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. We have a significant head start. It's already happening.
How many of you guys are there in the Union?
2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
2,373 is a sizable contingent for a labor organization in Revachol.
How are you going to fund your new independent harbor?
Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients will ditch us. Harry, we've thought of everything.
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate over a local mobster any day.
You can't possibly hope to continue like you have. Clients will leave en masse.
Sure, some will go, but mark my words. The company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez and to the new competitive contracts we can offer. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bold, exotic new revenue streams.
That's drugs.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical chemical factories on the Samaran Isola. You don't need to be colonialist about it. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities.
That's just the top of the iceberg, though, isn't it?
The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. The Debarders Union, however, we're all about the large volume column.
In bulk shipping, large volume column is a major buyer, a shark.
We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his Benefed, and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off Risperazole.
Benefed is a children's cold medicine, usually apricot flavored, and risperazole is used to treat severe psychosis.
I mean, it's not really gone into in this game to what extent the big pharma of Revachol and of Elysium as a whole is controlled by patent trolls and so forth. But patent or no patent, if you have the active ingredients, you can make whatever you want. Sell a generic version, undercut the major manufacturers. It could be a big business, as long as you're willing to step on a few toes.
And the kids on the street can get speed and pyrrolidon.
That too.
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the things you just mentioned.
He smiles.
But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the Union took a fantastic share. And I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez.
He's basically admitting to it.
I mean, the lorry that we uncovered showed that, yes, the drugs and the drug ingredients aren't staying in Martinez. They're going into Jamrock, where the money is. So our options are, drugs are a no-go for me. I'll report this. I have to admit, that's a well-put-together plan, and far removed from you. Interesting stuff. I just want to solve this murder, okay? Or, makes sense to regulate the drug trade like this. Keeps it out of more dangerous hands. I would argue Mr. Clare's hands are pretty dangerous. But, for now, let's not insult him. I just want to solve this murder, okay?
You know why you're such a good detective, Harry. You don't get sidetracked. You care about the people you're supposed to protect, not some systems that may or may not be unethical.
I love how unsubtle that is. He's just straight up saying, I'm a bad guy, I'm getting away with it. And for now, at least, yeah.
Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbor's turnover, just like the harbor is, but a small part of Martinez.
Go on.
Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. Young mothers who want to start businesses. Models who want to walk catwalks and steel welders who want to weld steel. I'm gonna unite them all into one economic body. We're gonna incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's gonna be in on the wealth, and everyone's gonna pull their weight.
When everyone's in the same union, is there even a union anymore? Aren't you just kind of the king at that point? That's very ambitious. I love what you're doing for the working man. This is naive, but it's the communist answer, so it's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you. You have no idea how much it means to me, because in many ways, you are that working man. You have already done so much work.
Working class, much like middle class, actually has a specific definition, but most people naturally assume that it applies to them. After all, you work, don't you? So you must be working class. There's someone above you and someone below you, so you must be middle class. It's an old politician's trick. Can I get my gun now?
Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me, but it had to be done.
Fine. Where is it?
An old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, word on the street is she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy, the one he described as terrifying.
So the gun's still with the woman who bought it from Roy?
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Wild. Anyway, the neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debardeurs Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building.
She was waving it around at people?
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt.
We might be looking at someone with a medical history here. Watch out. Unstable is good, actually. She will be easier to disarm. No, wait. Actually, unstable is pretty bad.
Who is this old woman?
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
A gunshot fired by an old lady is the same amount of dangerous as a gunshot fired by anybody else.
There it is again. The pigs. Like Roy said, not good at all.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
A smile flickers in the corner of his mouth. Can you set up a meeting?
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
She will be there from 2200 hours till 0200 hours.
Good to remember. We have a date.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Yeah, Kim. That's it for now.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We have united the RCM and the Debardeurs Union.
Suddenly, there's a sadness in his tone.
This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open.
Oh, we will talk again, Evrart. At least once more before the game is over, I assure you. We will talk again. Okay. Just gonna head on back through town here. In game, it is currently 10:40 a.m. So we've got 12 in-game hours before the pigs will become available. Oh. Dark liquid in the pot looks almost sentient. That's probably a passive Inland Empire check if I had to guess. Not talking to Measurehead. Not talking to Cordy. Not talking to the fat racist. You know what, while we're here, just in case, let's stock up. We've certainly got the money for it.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various
Okay, here. Okay, here. Okay, here. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
Oh, it will.
The tear machine stands in the corner. Your bottles clunk into the machine.
1 real and 40 cents. Meaning that we had 14 bottles on us. Okay, just a few more things before we try the ice cream maker again. First, now that we know more stuff, let's take another look at this call box.
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. East Delta Commerce Center? This must be the name of the doomed commercial area.
We would need to put another point in here to make this call again. You know what? No, not worth the skill point. Okay. Can we drink?
Well, hello. Someone seems to have found himself a bottle. What a solid can of mass... Wow. The gods of mass production have made this alcohol container laughably easy to open. A child could have done it.
Open the bottle.
There's a satisfying pop as the cap comes off, and the hair on your back rises like an army at attention. You've been here before. Welcome back, detective. You're home now.
Take a sip.
A golden sun melts down your throat.
Alcohol.
Its rays filling your nostrils with sunshine. Your stomach melts from it into a happy, gooey mess. So does your mind. All the bad things are melting. You're you again. A real cop. A real detective. Incredibly well done. From the void we came, and to the void we must return.
Don't mind me, Kim. Just an obvious alcoholic taking a drink right behind you at 10:40 in the morning. I assure you, it's for the case. Now then, we need this, we need this, and we need this. We got 2 shots at this.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
Everybody, cross your fingers.
Ice squeaks beneath your cavalzo, and it's already unplugged.
Last shot.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream. Ice squeaks beneath your cavalzo.
You're kidding me.
Tool.
Double
Watch your
ones?
fingers slip away from the tool. The lid shuts as tightly as before, and it's already unplugged.
Well, that sucked. Well, the good news is, as I said, we actually do get 1 more shot at this. Just, unfortunately, not for another 8 hours. Because when Neha gives us that die, that is when we get exactly 1 more try. And if that doesn't work, I'll be honest, I'm gonna save Scum, because we need this. I love the little rats. You know what? Speaking of dice, now, I think, is a great time to check out this. A high pastoral fantastique populaire board game, illustrated with bucolic vistas and featuring odd-looking humanoid creatures. It's the 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements module and can't be played without the main game. In other words, why the hell did you buy this, Harry?
Large letters on the front form a title, Wirral. The colorful box is illustrated with bucolic vistas. The cover art also features odd-looking humanoids, some short, some taller, some with pointy ears, others with ephemeral wings.
Examine the box.
Text underneath the title in smaller typeface reads, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements module. The side panel adds a sword and sorcery adventure board game with new maps and miniatures.
Shake the box.
Mysterious things rattle inside. What could they be? Dice? Plastic miniatures? A fantastical alternate world full of magic and wonder? None of that witless man from Heimdall, fascist dross, hidden behind faux realistic allegory. Wirral is no cliche-ridden apologia for colonial violence. Wirral is pure imagination.
Oh yes. Unlike the analog for Conan the Barbarian, the analog for Dungeons & Dragons is completely politics-free.
It's not. It's for pansies. The man from Heimdall is way more awesome.
Look at the back.
A blurb on the back reads, tired of the tedium and toil of modern life? Escape to Wirral. Leave behind Isolas and nations with their petty squabbles. Discard electricity, magnets, and boring technological widgets. Succumb to a world of high pastoral fantastique. Unleash your imagination and create an adventure of endless possibilities. Discover the terrible secret threatening Wirral. Can your band of adventurers save the world?
Yes, we're ready to take on this challenge.
Exactly. That's the spirit. All you have to do is read an intricate rulebook, study an assortment of maps, unfold the illustrated game board, and start rolling dice. In no time, you could be romping through grasslands with low-level characters, hunted by Iskala riders, or battling unspeakable monsters in endless dungeons fraught with danger and despair, conjuring up forceful magics to aid your quest. Don't forget heated arguments escalating to physical confrontation with your friends. And most importantly, never forget to rage quit if the dice don't go your way.
Good tip. Thanks, Drama. Open the box.
You pry open the box. Inside you find a folded up map, a small booklet, a 24-sided die, and a little plastic figurine.
Look at the map.
A reprint of a crude hand-drawn map. The top left corner reads, Lands of Wirral. The map features both small villages and mid-sized towns with odd names, in addition to meadows, forests, hills, lakes, and seas, also with odd names.
It's worth asking, is it a crude hand-drawn map because it's low quality, or because it's realistic and in the setting a hand-drawn map would be all you would get?
It doesn't seem to correspond with anything you've seen thus far. It's not a very helpful map.
Look at the booklet.
A quick guide to the magical races of Wirral. Create your own hero, choosing from any of these completely unique and fantastical backgrounds. The options are in order of importance. The Welkin, the Tueog, the humans, the fairy folk, and the pygmies.
Bit problematic that pygmies aren't considered human, but again, realistic. Read about the Welkin.
The Welkin, tall, lithe, and graceful, with long flowing hair and pointy ears. They're known for being powerful magic users, but can also hold their own in a brawn-driven fight. The Welkin come with a variety of exciting sub-races. High Welkin, Forest Welkin, Lake Welkin, and Snow Welkin. But if you're not feeling experimental, a basic Welkin will always do.
Read about the Dwergar.
A grand race of industrious mountain people. They're short, stout, and muscular, and enjoy digging for gold, and other precious minerals. They're also well versed in the art of combat, where they prefer to use axes and hammers. The Tweog also come in a few different sub-races: Hill Tweog, Shield Tweog, and Dark Tweog.
Read about the humans.
They're just humans. What else is there to tell? They're average in all stats, and jacks of all trades.
That tends to be the default in most role-playing type games where humans are one of the options. They're always the average, always the middle of the road. It's very rare that you would see a role-playing game with multiple races where humans are at one extreme or the other of any category. Seems unrealistic, doesn't it? But then, that's what you would expect from something made by humans. The humans explore in all possible directions, and when you explore in all possible directions at the same time, you wind up being the center of the universe, whether you actually think you are or not. Let's read about the fairy folk.
A very small race of flying people, known for being mischievous, full of trickery. They often lure people into their magical traps. There are no sub-races for the fairies.
And let's read about the pygmies.
The least popular of the Wirral races, the pygmies, are short, rotund, and dim-witted. Pygmies live in small villages made of shoddy wooden dwellings. They spend most of their days tilling the earth and smoking their pipes. There are no sub-races for the pygmies.
So in other words, halflings. Let's look at the dye.
It's made from some sort of wood and has been decorated with peculiar plant motifs. You don't know much about dice, but this one looks pretty damn fancy.
Indeed it is. And we do happen to know, because we talked with Neha, that this 24-sided die can be used to give results for a D2, a D3, a D4, a D6, or a D12. Take the die.
You place the die into your pocket. It's always good to have luck on your side.
Indeed. Look at the figurine.
You see a man in ragged clothes wearing a lopsided hat and wielding some sort of a firearm.
Huh, interesting. A communard.
What's so interesting about that?
The figurine is not a part of the real game setting. I guess someone misplaced it during the packaging process.
Does this mean we can't play?
I have a feeling the figurines are more there to set the scene than anything else.
I'm curious what else he has to say. Look at the
You
figurine
see a man
again.
in ragged...
Huh, interesting. A
That doesn't
communard.
sound very Wirral-like.
It is not. The communards are not a part of the game setting. I guess someone misplaced it during the packaging process.
Maybe someone should make a role-playing game set during the Revolution.
Good luck finding people who'd want to play as communards.
Other than ourselves. By which I guess I mean me, since I'm playing Harry, and Harry at least thinks he actually is a communard. Take the figurine.
You pick the figurine up by the base to meet your gaze. The little plastic man stares back at you, his face contorted into a disturbing shout. Then you pocket it.
Close the box.
A colorful box with the title Wirral in bold letters.
Got some new stuff. The standard Wirral die. Neha is going to give us a different version of this made of alligator jawbone. This basic 24-sided role-playing die can be used to get results for several dice. It's made of East Semnese snakewood and embellished with plant motifs. It reminds you of Plain and Hill Wilkins. Note, look at the map tab in journal to see which white checks have opened. Figurine set revolutionary. What a nice little figurine. A turn-of-the-century leftist revolutionary in ragged clothes. On his hand lies a lopsided hat, seemingly an ushanka. In his hand, he carries a little musket. By the way, we're going to get a hat much like this later in the game. Only have 2 skill points at the moment. Let's see. What else do we have to do? Right, inspect the traps. I don't know if we can call Alice back yet. You know what? Worth a shot. Let's go talk to Alice. Hey, what?
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
How strange. There appear to be some new people admiring Kim's ride. We'll ignore them for now. Pick up the radio again.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Did you find out more about the owner of the armored boots?
Sorry, sir. I still haven't heard back from the database people. Try calling again later. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, I'm done.
57's over and out.
In the cabin, you see
Hey. Guys, what's up?
That's one brutal motor carriage.
Says the young man with piss something written on his back. It's actually even blurred out in the character model. By the way, I'm gonna let you know, this word, there is some information that this is not the word we think it is. It doesn't rhyme with maggot. In universe, the actual censored term is Flaubert. I just think that's interesting.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom light it, neon style.
His companion wears a simple yet elegant slogan. Fuck the world.
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine trophy. We could, hang fucking shrunken heads from the side mirrors. Cops' heads. Scary tribal shit.
I love that they're openly discussing this, while literally surrounded by the police, who, as far as they know, have guns.
Yeah, tribal shit. A cop carriage like this would have proper skull value.
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal motor carriage, I have to stop you right there. The RCM takes threats directed at its property seriously.
It's just theoretical work, Copper. No basis in reality. Man, if we were certified skulls right now...
Skulls. Now there's a strong organizational title.
Who are you?
I can tell you who we're not, cop. We're not snitches or skulls.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and... On the contrary.
The part of this presentation you want to take home with you, cop man, is we're not part of the skulls yet.
There's that phrasing. Isn't it weird that the same term is being used by both Joyce and Fuck the World? I wonder what the odds are that those two know each other.
Okay then, let's indulge in some intellectual exchange. These young men seem eager to share their beliefs.
It's always nice to meet people who are passionate. Who are the skulls?
You don't know? What kind of cop are you?
It's not a question. Don't get into it.
No, I really don't.
The skulls are the most vicious gang of the Besmertne.
His voice rings with excitement.
Besmatine, or the Besmati, the Immortals, are West River Sholian crime syndicates.
The nastiest bunch of psychos ever. Jacking carriages and getting into high-speed chases.
Possessing an infinite amount of fuck-all swagger, infamous for their non-verbal modus operandi.
Non-verbal?
If a skull spots you, he will pull out his dagger and stab you without saying a word.
The lieutenant's voice is as calm as usual, a testament to the violence and death he's witnessed through the sight of his firearm.
Now, I want you to make note of this. And I'm just gonna point out that Titus, leader of the Hardy Boys, claimed that the Hardy Boys cleaned up Martinez, and his second in command, Elaine, indicated that they were sending gang members home in an airtight crate, which is to say, killing them. We don't necessarily know that he's been killing gang members, and according to Kim, when we were first briefed about the Hanged Man, he said apparently now they've started executing, meaning that it was not common knowledge, at least not to the RCM, that the Hardy Boys were killing people. But I ask you, if they aren't killing the skulls, how else do you get them to leave Martinez if their modus operandi precludes not only threats and negotiation, but communication of any sort? Force would be your only option.
They usually occupy the burnt-out quarter in Jamrock, or you can find them loitering around the brightly painted bottom-lighted vehicles.
I can't wait to become a skull. Bottom lights are wretched aggressive.
They are both of those things, yes. You know anything about the murder that took place here?
Murder?
Man was hanged in the backyard of the Whirling in Rags.
Yeah, sure. We'll gladly tell you everything we know about it. It was a man.
Also, he was hanged.
Anything else?
He was hanged from a tree.
Yeah, I mean, duh.
These punks don't know anything. Let's just move along.
Hey, stop right there. How does one know anything?
Ah, this sounds like epistemology. A field so occupied by thought that it begins to question thought itself.
I thought that you don't know shit.
Exactly. How can one know shit? For example, how can one be sure that there truly is a body hanging behind a hostel?
There isn't. I shot it down, we put it in a bear fridge, and then Kim took it to the morgue.
What if it's art? Or just a mere specter?
Maybe it's true. The hanged man is merely a prop in a performance. We are the audience, and the artist is hiding somewhere in the dark.
That could be the case, yes. A brilliant work of art.
No reply. The blonde rebel scratches his chin, deliberately not focusing his gaze on anything. He looks very uncomfortable.
Mismatch in the voice there. Do you guys know Cindy the Skull?
Oh yeah, Cindy's a right proper skull.
Young man's eyes glaze over, his voice filled with longing.
Yeah, a true artist of the future. Just like Arno van Eyck.
By the way, if you see Cindy, give her our regards.
He adds, returning from whatever void he was just visiting.
For all their nihilistic posturing, these young men are not lacking in youthful idealism.
Believing in nothing is still believing.
The lieutenant on your left is unusually lenient toward them.
I see you kids are into hypnotic dance music.
Oh man, yeah. We're not fucking kids, man.
Be wary of the abyss.
His blonde friend adds ominously and points to his temple. Why?
Probably because of how non-verbal their mode of operation is going to be. It's a threat.
A threat? Good. I like those.
But I don't. In fact, I dislike them so much I'm willing to drag you boys back to the station just to calm myself down.
Hey, there's no need for that. We're just talking here. Joking too. Stay light, man.
Yeah. Didn't you cops, have some questions about skulls or some shit?
Why aren't there more skulls in Martinez?
The Union does their share of policing in Martinez, at least where gangs are concerned. That's why there isn't much organized crime around here.
Except for the Union themselves, of course.
Don't you worry about that. We're gonna make up for the deficit.
Yeah, we are.
The young men exchange approving nods. You know, maybe these guys are here because the Hardy Boys recently took a week-long paid vacation. They probably would have been run out of town with nothing more than a stern glance otherwise. Your rhetoric is confusing. Are you a part of the Skulls or not?
We're not franchise Skulls. Well, not yet. Once we get our name out there, we'll have a chance to join them.
And what makes you think that the organization would accept you?
Because we can be just as psycho and vicious. You'll see.
But in a non-threatening and definitely legal way.
The other one quickly adds and whispers something to his friend.
We'll fuck the system from the inside later. Just be cool now. The damage will be tenfold.
Right on, fuck. So what's happening now?
Enough about this scullery then.
Mm-hmm.
What's with the jacket?
What about them?
Why does your jacket has Piss Flaubert written on it?
Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a person, even though the statement has character. And I do like piss. The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined as they seem, not as they are. And, I guess, it's also about communal spirit, the future, and truly appreciating our differences. Also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steadily moving towards basing the economy on it, attention, it is imperative that the medium itself convey the message.
This is a recurring theme of the game. Even these punks? Think about art and the statement that even a simple piece of graffiti will imply. Or at any rate, they know enough bullshit that they're able to talk about it. What?
What I mean by this is, we are all pissed, and that the world is inherently meaningless.
It seems that the young man has a certain expertise in at least one field, even if it's rather narrow.
And why do you have "fuck the world" written on your jacket?
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the one, for so-called true love, which is actually just obsession masquerading as kinship. The thrill of the chase, the hollowness that fills your chest cavity after catching it.
I'm wondering if the poetics come with the jacket, or are they derived from something else entirely?
Who are these young men emulating?
To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times, and even then it isn't certain that you'll get anything. If you blow up the lake, though...
That's a terrible metaphor.
You get more fish in a shorter time. And, for time is of the essence and fleeting ever so quickly, one must think of a way to fuck the whole world and not get caught up in fucking someone.
This is why nihilism is dangerous. Young people, children, who don't think they have a future, have no reason not to fuck up the present.
Because when one fucks everything, he fucks nothing. And that, to me, feels glorious. Sticking your dick into the void.
Hate to admit it, but in a weird way, he's got a point. Is it a coincidence that here we have two badass jackets and two badass cops?
Hey, Kim.
Yes?
You think it's a coincidence?
What is?
There are two of us and two of these jackets?
What are you implying?
Which one would you wear?
I'm not sure I understand you, detective.
Are you more of a piss Flaubert or a fuck the world kind of guy?
Neither.
Come on, Kim, it's just a mental exercise.
Fine, if only to end this discussion. Theoretically, if I were a juvenile delinquent, if I were to already be down that path, I think piss is the stronger of the two statements.
That works. I feel like more of a fuck the world kind of guy.
Seems about right, especially considering your heroic exit attempts.
That's an origin story for a dynamic duo right there.
So are we done here? Or... you don't need us around for your secret whisper party, do you?
You know what? Gonna be the last thing we do this stream? I'm gonna try this check. We only get one shot at it, though. Let's gear up. Half-light. What do we got? least something. Of course, the fallen gear. Gotta have a jacket to get a jacket. Alright. Let's see if we do any better at this than we did at the ice cream maker.
That ride is fucking lightning.
Hey, piss. Look who it is. Shrunken cophead material.
Who you calling cophead material?
No.
Where
Don't
were
ask
you?
anything. Be subtle and scary. The boys dream about being skulls. Use that.
How?
Suggest their massive skulls. Come on.
Boys, with those jackets, you're gonna be the Skull Kings in no time.
What? No. Skulls don't have kings. I think. And we're not even in yet.
Yeah, man, keep your voice down. Skulls don't take it lightly when folks pretend to be them. We're not even prospects yet.
Prospect must be a hierarchical term. Probably in the lower end.
Not even prospects and already aspiring to be kings?
Wow, you boys are ambitious. Only prospects and already planning a coup in the skulls. You're destined to go far.
He gets it. Passive-aggressive flattery.
Shut the fuck up. Are you trying to get us killed?
Now bring it to the jackets and, yes, start shouting.
Yes, we want to be a cool killer skulls too, just like you guys, but we don't have skull jackets.
Please be quiet. What? What do you want? The jackets?
You offer us your jackets like that? It would be impolite to refuse.
Oh, man. Okay, I get it. Skulls don't really wear slogans anyway. This was stupid.
Fuck.
The other one sighs deeply. I love how much they look like dweebs without their jackets. Since you said you're more of a Piss Flaubert kind of guy, I'll take the other one.
I'm absolutely okay with not having either one, thank you.
Don't you want to express your individuality?
I already am expressing my individuality.
I'm not. I don't have a jacket anymore.
Good. I wanted you not to express yours.
I love Kim so much.
Cold-hearted cop.
Well, whatever. I'll take both then.
Do. I'm fine with that.
The jackets are meant to complete each other. If a man was standing alone on a street corner with piss written on his back, it'd just be an individual that has taken a liking to urine. And fuck the world all on its own is, frankly, generic.
I don't know, Eric. It's cold out.
The dark-haired young man just stands there, defeated. The wind blows.
Yeah, let's get out of here. The cops fucked us.
Congratulations, young men. You are part of the world. And therefore, I have fucked you. Preventing juvenile delinquency, one property confiscation at a time. Let's take a look at these jackets. Or jacket singular. I don't seem to have the other one for some reason. Ah, gives us bonus to half-light. Darkening world. A leather jacket that quite recently belonged to a hoodlum who understood love for what it really is. It has the hoodlum's nom de guerre written on the back. It's quite a statement. Oh, here it is. Piss Flaubert. Gives us bonus to drama. No fucks given. -1 to authority. Wait, I'm a detective? A leather jacket that quite recently belonged to a young man who possessed some intimate knowledge on the human condition. It has his nom de guerre written on the back. It's quite a statement. Here's how we look in it. And here's how we look in the other one. Very cop-like. Well, whether you like piss or want to fuck the world. Either way, you're gonna have to wait another week for more of this. I'd like to thank you all for joining me. We've got more to explore. Certainly, we gotta get our gun back. And, like I said, we get one more shot at that ice cream fridge. I really don't want to save Scum. But that'll have to wait for next time. For now, have yourselves a very good night.